This is from NLD Group, Neil. It says, I'm an Arab from Germany. May I ask how standpoint is about Arabs? I guess how my standpoint is. Unfortunately, I have a Jewish friend here in Germany. It's hard to find in our area. We have a Jewish kindergarten. I have great respect for the Jewish people. I'm really interested in religion. I can't understand why people hate and kill. Yeah, most religious people can't understand that because it says, and you loved your brother as yourself, and it furthermore says, thou shalt not kill. But on each side you can find very ignorant people. I see a lot. I see the people as human. If you treat me right, I do also. I judge people on by their acts, not in heritage, color, belief. That's the way to go ahead with this very crazy and interesting world. Agreed. Unfortunately, my friend, you find very hateful comments about both our races. It's scary because this represents our society. I hope you can answer my question. It would be great to communicate with you and have great talks. One thing I will say, Judaism is actually not a race, it's a religion, and anyone is free to convert to it. If you were to try to trace the race of Jews, you'd be very hard-pressed because our whole history has been exiled from one country to the other country to the other country, every time being usually the scapegoat whenever the country fell into financial woes or any kind of hate campaign was needed to rally the people around a common goal. A lot of times it just said, well, it's probably the fault of the Jews, and we were kicked out yet again. But it is a religion that, again, anyone is free to convert to. It's not a race. Arabs, it's a very general term, Arabs. I think, what I think of when people say that is, that generally I think of descendants of Ishmael and the people in the Middle East. Although I don't know if it's fair, I don't know if you mean Muslims in general, but Abraham had his first son born to him, not from his primary wife, but from his concubine, was Hagar, and this was Ishmael. And Ishmael, Abraham, even when he was told about the birth of Isaac, which would be from his wife Sarah, he prayed that Ishmael should live, and God should bless Ishmael as well. And you see that this blessing has gone on. And when Abraham is told your descendants will be like the dust, like the sand on the shores and the stars in the sky, it's clear to me anyway that the Arabs are the fulfillment of his descendants being like sand. There's over a billion Muslims and stars in the sky. There's less of them, but there's also 14 million Jews in the world. But they're really stepbrothers or half brothers. I don't know exactly the expression, but we're brothers from the same father. And you see that after after Jesus, there was the Muslims had the Ishmaelites had a prophet, and he wrote the Quran, and he traced really the lineage of Ishmael, and you see that they went back and really reinstated a lot of the laws of Moses, which was very refreshing to the Jewish people because there was that whole sect in the middle that permitted pork and everything you wanted to eat and promised heaven on earth in a time when they're like mercilessly killing Jews, and really they attempted to take over the entire Middle East until really until Muhammad came and claimed back a lot of the lands for the descendants of Abraham. But at this point, yeah, I don't judge either. I know that I definitely don't have it figured out. I know my own little take on reality and what God wants of me, but it's very limited. It's based only on my limited human comprehension. And meanwhile, God is infinite, and His Torah that He gave to the Jews is also infinite. And we only have so much time here, and I just don't think there's enough time to sit and hate and dissect and judge. And I'm a big there was an expression, people who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. But one thing you'll see if you do actually study history is that we've been repeating the same vicious cycles over and over again. And I think that the expression is simply off, and I think it's time to just abandon our study of history, because it only leads to finger pointing and misunderstanding and who was wrong first and who was wrong last and how much were you wrong and why were you wrong. And it all comes back to the same ridiculous issues, and many of us are looking around the planet and going, it wasn't me who dropped an atomic bomb, it wasn't me who threw out the Canaanites from the land. When there's I don't know exactly what the point is of going back in history. I think your point is a valid point and a beautiful point, that treat others as you yourself would want to be treated. This is the main dictum of the Torah. I mean, this is when people say religion ruins things, I would ask them to come up with this on their own human intellect, of treat your neighbor as you would treat yourself, love your brother as you would love yourself, which is, according to Rabbi Akiva, a great commandment in the Torah. And in another place it says this is the entirety of the Torah by, I think, Hillel, and the rest is just commentary. or maybe Rabbi Kiva. Either way, this is the general understanding of godly people, is that we love our brother, we love our neighbor, we don't judge them, and we try to seek out their merits, and we try to seek out their positive qualities and try to accentuate their positive qualities. And when it comes to rebuke, we take that out on ourselves, and we know that we're imperfect, and we have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of refinement, self-refinement. We don't go around judging other people, because it's not the way of a spiritual person, generally speaking. So that's my take about it. I see all of humanity at this point as brothers, simply because of the way we've progressed. It's disgusting, but there's just so much global economic disparity. You have people living on the continent of Africa that are literally, if they were to see the quality of life here, they wouldn't understand how we're all God's children, and they're living like peasants and we're living like kings. And this is still in a day when America is not doing so great, but compared to their standard of living, it's literally unbelievable that we all come from the same God and we all have the same Father in heaven. And it's not that we don't have ways to communicate with them. It's not that we can't be in touch with what's going on over there. It's that we choose to distract ourselves with things like television and sports and all these unworthy pursuits, as opposed to really focusing on the pain that is the pain of our brother, be he an ocean away or be he right next door. So hopefully this will change with the next generation. It seems that the older generation is, I don't know if they've abandoned us, but either way, I think from what I see of younger people, they're much more in tune to this global reality. And I think the things like the internet, this is part of that, is that you can't escape the pain on the other side of the planet. You can't get away from it. As much as you try to distract yourself and tune into television and tune into radio stories by your own little political system, and you make it into a big story in your own little life. Meanwhile, there's people, in Ethiopia, they're still trying to deworm the food of school children, and there's still wars in the Congo, and separatist groups in India. There's still people going to war, and this is after many years of human evolution. So how could it be such a thing? We just have to pray for the best and hope that eventually there will be a grand scale spiritual awakening where we abandon warfare altogether and we focus first and foremost on the basic necessities of all mankind: food, shelter, clothing, and medical attention. And we really have the technology. It's not that we don't. We're just so focused on our own little version of competition, and this is the way history seems to have played. Not that I encourage the study of it, but ever since we dropped the atomic bombs, capitalism seems to have won out, and capitalism just teaches greed and competition and envy and lust and corruption, all for the sake of making more money than your neighbor. And it's gotten us absolutely nowhere. And I don't know if communism would have been a better option. It seems like it wouldn't have, but either way, no one's doing anything right at this point, and the global spiritual forces are screaming that out louder than previously, and it gets worse every day because our technology gets better every day. So hopefully this will all change, and hopefully me and you, my friend, will merit to see a time on this planet where there is an end of economic global disparity and also a time of world peace, and it will last for the rest of our human existence on this planet. Thank you so much, and God bless.